Nick,
Hello.
what's your topic?
So my topic generally comes from the community, but
We're done with that. We hate the community. 1 year in, you're done.
No,
we
you guys
love them.
community.
Please, guys. I write down all your topics. Please tweet your topics at Nick_Scarpino.
NCC Nick Scarpino, no underscore.
Yeah. Why not? He loves it when you do that, I'm sure. But we're gonna take a step back from that for a second, because it's not every day that one of your good friends and coworkers makes his own movie. And Mike Ransky, you've done that.
Great job.
Whoa! Yeah, I was gonna go for the joke, but I was like, no, this is your
Let's put it
time.
this way: Tim's movies aren't. It's not legal to put them on the shelves of Walmart.
Yeah.
Because
They involve naked people.
They're
With a
pornographic.
lady.
It's mostly just him with a sock.
Okay. Oh.
But no,
Okay.
so Mike, when you just a little backstory, and you tell me if I get some of these details wrong,
Sure.
as I'm sure I will.
Sure.
You started IGN a while back.
2 years, 2.5 years.
2.5 years ago.
A little more.
I watched the beginning of the show.
Before that, you were at a company called Black 20 that was doing sort of skit comedy, sort of like
We
college
were
humor
doing.
style.
Yep.
And you guys did some fun stuff.
Yep.
But in and amongst all this time, the last 6 years of your life, 7 years of your life, maybe before IGN,
Before IGN. What are we talking about? Just.
the movies, making the movies.
Oh, I've been doing it for 15 years.
Wait, what?
So for 15 years,
Yeah.
You've been
You
making
have been
movies for 15 years.
15 years.
How old are
making
you?
Movies.
I'm older than hell. You don't need to know.
He's 45 years old. It's not a big deal.
It's
He's 74 years old.
37.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I would not have pegged you there.
really.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
if you would have asked me before this, I would have said you're right 32 with me. And then 15, I was like 35?
It's the beard and the hat. Hides
Please
everything.
always do that move that you
Yeah.
just did.
That's right.
The Ransky dad.
Everybody
That's
dance.
I
Colin, do the
They call
dance
that
if
the-
it can be a GIF.
What?
Everybody dance.
What?
There you go.
Smile too. I liked it.
So Ransky.
Yeah.
So this is something I found out about
That
you.
segue.
Kind of early on, but
Yeah.
I've always been impressed by this. Your passion, obviously, is as a filmmaker. You took your money and your weekends and your friends,
Yes.
and you guys went out and you just got it done. You made movies.
What was you took your money stuff. What was your role in this project?
On this project, well, this one, I was not a money situation. This was we're talking about the Phobia. We're talking
So yeah, so
like,
let me
segue that one into
Let me
something.
let me catch everyone up here
Yeah.
before we segue into that.
Okay.
So how many films have you made total?
Oh my god. If I produced and directed, I would say 6.
Damn.
Yeah.
And we're talking feature length, right? This is
Yeah.
not just like the stuff that me and Tim do, where it's like 2 minutes and we're talking about directors, and then
Yeah.
I sing at the
Sing,
end.
getting.
Sing at the end.
I gotta point out that some of those of the 6, like the first couple movies we made with my friends, are pretty much unwatchable, but they are featured.
Okay, but no, but something that's how it goes when you first start off with anything,
Yeah.
right? Should have seen Tim's first video.
I
It
was
only
gonna
got
say, like,
1.7 million views.
Yeah.
The first,
Deal
fi-
with
the
it.
first
Money
51
back.
episodes of this were pretty shit.
Well, if
But
you
they
listen,
were
got there,
feature
guys, you
length
got
though.
there. Yeah.
if you listen to the first 3 minutes of the audio on this one, you'd probably agree.
Is it really that bad?
No, it's totally fine. I don't know. I can't tell. You guys are screaming, and my ears really can't. They're not registering sound anymore.
Greg is screaming in your ear.
It's true. Don't worry about it. So that brings us to your latest, right? Which is a movie called Phobia.
Yes.
And this movie, you were sort of surprised. You made how long ago did you make this?
We made this 4.5, almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. We shot it back when I was in New York. Actually, I think it was in transition of Connecticut and New York at that point. We shot in Brooklyn for 6 months, all weekends. Terrible idea to do that way.
6 months.
Yeah.
All weekends.
Yes.
Were you married at the time? Did you have a girlfriend at the time?
So that's a funny story. I just got married about 4 weeks before that.
Good lord.
Yeah. So my wife loved me. Yeah. So there was a lot of convincing on the table, but it's just like, hey, this was just before we're married and basically setting her up for this thing. I'm just like, we've been planning for this thing for years. We got to make this happen. To give the whole dream speech.
Sure.
Like,
this is-
she
yeah.
went along with that for the first, and then a couple months into this thing, and that she was.
She regretted her decisions in life.
I gave my
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
I told my wife the exact same thing when I was like, "No, we're gonna do this podcast and it's gonna blow up, and we're only gonna have to do it for like 2-3 weeks before we just become mega stars, like internet superstars."
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
She's like, don't you need 100,000 subscribers on YouTube for that?
and she's like, I looked it up on Yahoo. Yahoo News.
Yahoo questions. Yahoo asks or whatever.
No, but so this is something interesting, right? And the reason why I invited you to be on the show today was, aside from the fact that I love talking movies with you, is the fact that you. A lot of people get out there and they have dreams to make something like a full-length feature film, right?
Sure.
That's sort of like the that's sort of the pinnacle of success for most creators in the digital video realm.
Mm-hmm.
You have been doing it 15 years, and you sort of had that sort of Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez mindset of let's just go do it.
Sure.
The only thing stopping us is ourselves, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
Thanks,
right? And
man.
now this latest film you came the other day, and you were like, starting to get some reviews.
Yeah.
And you just showed me a picture as on the car right over of your film on
The shelf on Walmart. Yeah.
shelf on Walmart.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
On the Walmarts. Yeah, that was cool. That was really exciting. Yeah, it was selling really well even on Amazon today too. Like we're like as of I don't even check the last couple hours, but we were like basically the last 8 copies were left. Basically they're saying hey 8 more are left, so make sure to knock yourself.
Is it streamable?
I told him if you
What's
can
that?
come on the
Can
show,
you?
I'm
Is it
getting
digital?
It's digital and it's physical, so you can go either direction if you like.
Cool.
But yeah, it was cool, man. It was really exciting to see that it seems to have been getting some good traction. It was a long process. Much credit to my good friend Rory Abel, who he's the guy that actually put the money up front for this baby. For this one, I was the director of photography and I'm the executive producer. So I've been in the process of this entire film with him from the beginning. We did everything from casting into everything else you can think of. Shooting in New York is very tricky. And
especially on low budget, right?
Yeah,
we should say this was
we shot it for $15,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of puts you in the realm of paranormal activity, kind of.
Yeah, well, that was like $40,000 even, and that was before the reshoots.
Right.
But yeah, we were in that low level of trade. I've come to the mindset of me and my buddies over the last 15 years or so. We've had this mindset that we're just gonna make movies. We're gonna figure out a format and do it because at the end of the day, format. So we shot this on 7D, Canon 7D, which is a camera that now is probably not the number one camera to be shooting features on. But at the time, we're like, we're ahead of things. But we're always trying to get ahead of technology a little by making it seem like.
Right, and this is the Canon 70. This is the DSLR revolution.
Yeah.
That happened a few years ago, right?
Yeah. So
Where
like
suddenly you can get depth of field, you can get sort of cinematic look to your stuff, and you can sync sound and actually shoot it like a film, and it would be
well,
you
like,
had to shoot
on
a
a
12
photo
minute.
camera, yeah.
You had to shoot in 12-minute increments, and the thing would overheat.
Yeah.
yes,
Which
no
happened a
audio
lot.
on board.
That's
No,
funny
on
you
board,
said
yeah.
that because that happened many
I
times.
shot a short film with my good friend Anthony Cava and my good friend the cartoon pilot Ty Root. We shot it out in the Kern Valley, which is central California.
Yeah.
Hot as hell, and we had to bring an ice cooler. Because the thing started would overheat, so we
I
prepped
saw
it
that
and we
trailer for that.
put it in an
Great.
ice
Yeah.
cooler. Yeah, it was fun.
That was shot in 7D.
That was 70 actually.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
It looked great.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we've been making movies for as a whole, like I said, we've been making them for 15 years, and like it's always been about a process of sacrifice to make these things, but it's really fulfilling. Like it's a lot of work to make movies. And making, I mean, that movie, like basically Rory has been living that movie a lot more than I've been living.
I was gonna say, what happened that it took so long to, you've been here for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
but then you had done it 5 years ago. You said.
Yeah. So we shot the film. It was a long process of post, and then there was a lot of ADR, which is just for technical terms, it's like audio pickups. There were some dialogue situations that we had with the production of the film. That we were not planning for. So some dialogue kind of got lost in the transition. One of our people that we had on staff, we kind of lost it. So
your sound guy fucked up.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, it was a little crazy.
Happens to us all the time, Kevin.
Yeah.
Not even here.
I know, we're giving
not
him
even
I
here.
wonder why Nick's ears are blown out, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Get well soon.
I know.
Yeah, he's hurting right now. We love him.
Yeah.
He's one of my good friends. Kevin is our producer. He's also part of the climbing community with me. Not a big deal. When you
All right, so you needed to re-record some of the lines.
when
Yeah.
you're 15
So
feet up in the air, life just looks different.
15,
right?
10.
When you're between 10 and 15 feet up in the air, everything else just goes away.
So when you're 4 feet higher than me all the time.
I'm just saying, 4 feet, 10 feet doesn't matter. I'm part of a community, Greg. Sorry, continue. So you had to do some ADR. Some
yeah,
automated
so we had to
dialogue
do a lot of
replacement.
that. And then
And how much? I mean, then that's costly, right? It's not
is.
something that you can just do. You
Yeah.
have to get an ADR studio. You have to get a recording, or you have to do it on the cheap, which is even harder because then you have to get it in order to make it good.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had to do a lot of that, and so we had to do that part, and then there's some special effects shots in the film, so we had to do that kind of
Are
situation.
there aliens in the film?
Don't spoil.
I don't want to ruin it for them.
I
out there.
just
Check the
added
movie
it
out.
to my Amazon instant wish list. Please don't ruin this movie.
I should preface, none of us have seen this because it just came out We are recording this. This is the second one next Tuesday. When does it come out? It came out today.
Came out today. Yeah, just today.
I'm trying to figure out if I was supposed to say it came out today, and today is next
your
week.
timeline's correct. You're good. So we're good. We're here.
I'm so confused right now.
I mean, people are gonna get this whenever they get this.
You know, that's another time travel reference. We had a photo of it on the shelf at Walmart, but it doesn't come out till next Tuesday.
I don't know. There was
Walmart's prepping a week ahead of time.
There was nothing else on the shelf. I thought maybe they were just like he had a friend that worked at Walmart and was like, I'll put 4 of them up there and then check them.
Oh, okay.
Greg, you're so good about it on Up at Noon, where you're just like, it's out today, and we'll film something 5 weeks in advance.
And the guest usually gets pissed off.
And they're
like, no,
like,
it's
what
not
the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So 5 years.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of that process after that point was just trying to get the movie sold.
By sold, you mean get sold to someone who can distribute it and make money off of it?
Yeah, I mean, to try to at least get it out there to the to get distribution. That was really the most important part. Like, we tried to figure out how that was going to work. We tried to get into film festivals and stuff, and then we fell into a lucky situation where we contacted. So this is the strange story of it. So there's 3 producers executive producers on the film, me, myself, and me, myself. That doesn't make a sense.
Me, myself, and
I. Myself, Rory, and Elias. Elias is the third guy, and he actually is in LA right now, and he made contact with a guy who, a producer's rep. The reason he got a producer's rep, and a producer's rep is someone who helps get a film distributed. He contacted this... Okay, this is going to back the story up just a little here.
This is why we love Mike Rains.
Yeah.
Roll it back, everyone.
Yeah, I'm jumping around stories here. So basically what happened is Elias reached out to some filmmakers who had made a film very similar to our film. And he got some interest and got some story behind these guys, and they told him about this producer's rep. And he contacted the producer's rep. The producer's rep was interested in the movie, and then got it out to our film company that distributes the film now, which is Image Entertainment.
Okay.
And they were really excited about the film. They jumped all over it. At the time, it was called Alone.
Because it's about
a guy who lives alone, has agoraphobia, and never leaves the house. And that doesn't. It's a horror film. It's like a psychological horror film.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, the cover art.
Yes.
On this.
Yeah. If you see the cover art, look it up.
I'll insert it right here.
Okay.
Who needs Kevin?
There you go. Frightening.
So how does that sit with everyone?
Okay.
Oh!
Holy cannoli!
It is creepy. I don't like the things around the eyes.
Yeah.
So at what point did someone smarter than all of us go, hey, let's call it Phobia instead and make some spiders come out of some eyes?
Yeah, that was the distribution company. They got all into that. So
headlines and thumbnails.
Yeah.
Sure,
it's 100% about that. So that's what happened. So they asked us, they wanted to change the title. We're like, okay. And then like a few months later, out of nowhere, it got on a horror website. I think it was Dread Central. I believe it was. They revealed the poster, which we hadn't seen yet. Mm-hmm. And then they revealed it with the title, with the trailer, and we're like, oh, this is cool. And it was the poster. I don't want to deceive anybody. It's pretty crazy, as you can have seen, but is a little bit different than with the actual film that you're experiencing.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous. Who the fuck would ever do that?
Yeah.
Like using something to promote people to click on something that isn't
that's
exactly what is in the
almost
content.
as insidious as using sexy pictures of Emma Watson to sell some of your podcasts. It's just not right.
I mean, with all due respect, Emma Watson wasn't even that like over sexualized.
No, that was not.
That was just a photo of Emma Watson.
And actually, it was very relevant to the topic.
And for the
too.
record, Emma Watson was here. She was just filming. Kevin wasn't here. She was the one taking notes over there.
Oh my God. Sorry, just my heart just beat. I was like, did I miss Emma Watson? Was she on the show when I wasn't here one week? Because I missed that. You should tell her. I'll never forget that.
This is a very interesting story to me because, I appreciate, first of all, learning a little bit about the process of getting a film made. Because I'm very ignorant about that kind of thing. But also the entrepreneurial spirit behind doing something like that. And I think it's a lesson to everyone out there that if you really want to do something, you really want to make, you weren't trying to make an art film or a student film. You were making a feature film, a film that, I don't want to say it can necessarily stand toe to toe with the great, Interstellar, but you're trying to make, maybe it can, but you're trying to make something of that ilk.
Sure. And
that required lots of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very inspirational.
Oh, thanks.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's really cool. And you saw it through. You guys saw it through. And I think that's really cool. Now, my one question is,
sure,
who wrote the movie?
It was written by Roy and his friend, and well, actually, that's another weird thing too. It's Rory and Matthew Barnes, who actually he didn't really know Matthew, but somehow he had a connection with him to
The internet.
Yeah, basically. So they worked on working through the drafts of the film. There's a really funny story about the script. So we were about to go into production, and only a few weeks before into production on the original draft of the script, and we started getting people together, a crew together for this thing. I got the final draft, and obviously, like I said, I'm the executive producer on the film, and I read the draft, and there was some major, just really campy stuff that
Nude scenes? It's a horror movie.
We got nude scenes in this movie, by the way.
Of course you do. Good.
I apologize, everyone, as an
How big's
interviewer.
the guy's dick?
Big.
If I've learned anything
Michael
from my fellow friends and
Portilla.
one of the best interviewers, internet superstar Greg Miller, lead with the nude stuff.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah.
Like his
Lock
his
him in.
infamous.
Well, now the thumbnail can just be a guy's naked junk.
That's
Just a dick. That's it.
Is it?
Yeah,
No, let me ask you this
Phobia.
question. Is it where is it oriented in the thumbnail? Is it like
Yeah,
hanging
it's-
down, or
it's
is it
north
like?
and
Well,
south.
usually I like to put the
It's
images
east and
on the
west.
right side, so it'll just be a dick on the right, and then it'll just say GameOverGreggy show on the left.
See, I like the idea
Yeah.
of it being so zoomed in that it's just like flesh and you don't know what it is.
And now that you've watched this far into the episode, you know you looked at the guy's dick.
You're the same. You can't turn back now. You got too far.
Wait, so go back to the
That's
story.
the
So,
Bandcamp thumbnail.
so there was some. You were saying there was some camp in the.
Yeah. So the original screenplay came in. We were about to go into production only a few weeks into it. I'm kind of the dick here because of this situation, but basically, I'm like, dude, we can't make this movie. Like, that's really stupid and kind of cheesy. And that's not saying knock on this. It's just it's one of those kind of things. Like, there's a lot of horror tropes in it that was like with the Ouija board and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's really cheesy. Like, the movie's trying to treat itself serious. So we had to retool the script. We like had to turn away all the crew and start an entire new crew to basically.
Oh my God.
That's
So
probably-
just because of that screenplay, but I'm like, the problem is this: like, when you make a film, you live the film for the next couple of years of your life. So any chances or choices you make, you got to stick to those choices, because once you start going into this thing, going back becomes a nightmare. So you're just like, you have to go for it, and
So
you
you-
have to make calls that you don't want to make, but you have to.
So you're saying you read the script
Yeah.
and you were like, it's going to cost me. You did the cost benefit analysis in your brain. Where you're like,
Yeah.
if we go forward, this and we have to change this later down the road, it's going to cost us more than if we just retool this whole thing right now.
Yeah.
And put the crew on standby,
Sure.
risking that maybe we won't get the crew back that we
Correct.
want, because oftentimes
Which
these
is
people
good.
aren't. They're not salaried employees. They're going to go on to the next thing. They're
Sure.
going to go on to the next paying gig. 'Cause you're not going to pay them to wait around for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a tricky situation. We chose to go that direction with the script. It turned out to be a better choice, I think, in the long term for the film. So it was cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the film right now. Getting its launched today. The reviews have been very positive coming through on it so far. So that's awesome, because
That's really cool, yeah.
You have no idea what's going. Like, you're putting a movie out there and you're just like, we could get beat to death here, and it's happened. Like, I've done many films in the past. We've actually got like fascinating stories. Back in the days, we did a film, one of our first feature films, a 16 millimeter, which was a nightmare to shoot on that at the time. That's like film process. They don't even do.
Still a nightmare to shoot on 16
Yeah.
millimeter, by the way.
Yeah, and we got reviewed by the New York Times.
Oh.
And Elvis Mitchell tore us a new asshole. Basically said we were the backwash of Clerks and Bottle Rocket, and we're just like, well, that sucks.
But
And
at least he mentioned you in the same breath as Clerks and Bottle
Yeah,
Rocket.
I mean, it was really. I mean,
love
his
Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, I love Bottle Rocket, by the way, too. So that's
interesting.
So the intro. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, honestly, like, I had no problem with the Clerks and Bottle Rocket, because I respected Wes Anderson and Kevin Smith to death, and so I was willing to take that hit at that point.
Yeah.
Because we were like, so
Did you think it was not a great movie, or did it catch you off guard when you read the review?
well, at the time we were really. So the story of that. What you're talking about, that original from the New York
Yeah,
Times.
the one that
thing?
got ripped
So
apart
the New York
by
Times thing happened where,
Elvis.
Elvis Mitchell had writ. Basically what happened was the backstory of that is that we had a premiere for that original film, Sean 16. We screened it, and happened to be a guy there from a now not a magazine anymore, but just a website called Film Threat. Film Threat is a pretty big deal to us, because that's actually how Kevin Smith and Clerks, one of its big leaping moments happened when they got a really positive review from Film Threat. And they gave us like a 4-star review on Film Threat. And my like, oh my God,
We're
it's
gonna be
happening.
rich.
Yeah, like that's it. Our career's gonna happen. And we were just like, this was like in our early 20s. Yeah, it was our early 20s we were doing this. And this is when that happened. And we're like, that's going to be the biggest moment. And the guy from, literally, what happened was that guy from Film Threat loved our movie so much that he helped get the movie into screenings. In fact, got into screenings in New York City. And that's where Elvis Mitchell saw the movie. So we're on a high horse. And when the Elvis Mitchell thing happened, it took a little,
Knocked you down,
that.
huh?
Yeah, it took us down.
Yeah, but that's not to say that. But the Clerks didn't get all positive reviews across the board.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
got panned here and there.
Yeah,
if I remember
totally.
correctly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
Never
one
by
of those...
the New York Times, but
Yeah, I mean, but it's awesome. I can say I got reviewed in the New York Times no matter what. I can take that hit with me. So
that's pretty big.
So like reviews are always been like it's nice to see positive reviews because you're in a good position. You feel a little better about the film. And right now with this movie, it's been really positive, and so we're really excited about seeing how it's going to do. We got some really great talent in the film, and
Did you send a copy to Elvis Mitchell?
oh my God,
That'd be hilarious.
I should send one out to him.
Here's
I don't know if
my-
he's reviewing in New York Times anymore.
Here's my last question because I feel like looking at the time, we're getting a little late. I could talk about this all
yeah,
night
yeah,
with you.
sure.
If the movie does well enough to warrant a sequel,
Yes.
can all of us
my
be in
God.
It's called Phobias.
Oh,
it? Can we be it?
Phobias.
Phobia, dude, that's
With an
like
S.
no joke. That's like literally what we're talking about with titles. Yes, you heard it here. If that happens,
That's a
be
verbal contract. That's
Yeah.
binding. You can't do that.
You're in it.
He's like, I'm not guaranteed to be the producer on it, but it's okay.
I'll just throw it to that point.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I'm gonna ask you.
One day you're gonna
congratulations.
see a
That is
trailer, and we're all in it, and you can be like, "What the fuck?"
Phobias.
God, they got in that movie.
Phobias, the romantic
We
comedy.
lost all Rich.
Bromantic comedy.
When Nick Scarpino discovered he had a phobia of axes, things were left on the cutting room floor.
I need a burrito.
Classic Nick.
Classic Scarpino.
So everybody go
That's Scarpino.
buy Phobia. It's available at Walmart.
check it out.
Walmart,
Amazon.
Amazon, Best Buys,
Turn on the phone.
Targets. You can actually get basically anything. If you look it up, just
iTunes?
It's
Is it on
iTunes?
the
on,
PSN?
yes, it's on iTunes.
Oh man.
It's on Amazon's.
PSN?
I don't know. That's a good question. I should really look into that.
The
I have
Sony
not checked it.
Entertainment Network.
So that's it. I'm gonna look into that tonight, and
Wii
someone verify that for me because I don't know. But yeah, that's exciting. So it's out there.
Well, congrats.
Take a look.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
We're very proud
you,
of you.
man.
We love
Thanks.
you.
That's a
guys.
big deal.
Appreciate it, guys.
BFD, as they say.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.